On our wedding day, he didn't look at me, not once. While everyone clapped and cheered, while cameras flashed and my auntie sprayed money on us, my husband stood beside me like a man signing a business contract, because that is exactly what it was. He didn't marry me for love, he married me for papers, and I married him because I needed the money. But what neither of us knew was that love has a way of showing up where it was never invited. I needed money, and somehow desperation introduced us. My name is Amara. I had been in the UK for 5 years, working headless care shift in Manchester. My visa was secured, but my finances were not. My mom back home in Lagos was sick. My younger brother had just gained admission into university. Every pound I made already had a destination. That is when Titi told me about Daniel. His work visa was expiring. Sponsorship fell through. Appeals failed. He was running out of time. When we met, he didn't smile much. He said, "This would be respectful, no emotions. 2 years, he would pay me, then we move on." It sounded cold, but life had already been cold to both of us. So we signed. The wedding was small, a civil ceremony. We smiled for pictures, held hands for immigration officers, acted in love when necessary. At home, we lived like roommates, separate rooms, separate lives. We barely talked. He worked long hours. I worked double shift. Sometimes we passed each other in the kitchen like strangers renting the same apartment. But slowly, small things began to change. One rainy night, I came home exhausted. Earlier that day, one of my patients had passed. I had cried in the staff toilet, washed my face, and continued my shift like nothing happened. When I entered the apartment, Daniel was in the kitchen. He looked at me and paused. "You haven't eaten." It wasn't romantic, just observant. There was food on the table. He had cooked. I don't know why that simple act made my chest tighten. He didn't have to care. This was a contract, but that night, we sat and ate together. And for the first time, we talked, not about documents, not about timelines, about Lagos, about home, about family, about struggles. Something softened. Months later, immigration called him for another interview. We prepared like actors rehearsing a script. Favorite colors, favorite meal, first holiday, how we met. We knew all the answers. After the interview, we went out to celebrate. Just casual. A man approached me at the bar. He was friendly, flirting lightly. I laughed politely. When I turned to Daniel, Daniel's jaw was tight. He didn't speak until we got home. Then he asked, "Why were you smiling like that at him?" I blinked. "Excuse me?" And he said, "You are my wife." The way he said it, not immigration wife, not arrangement, just wife. That was the first crack in the wall. That night, everything changed. There was no big drama, no shouting, no fight. We were watching TV. Silence filled the room. Then he muted. "I don't want a divorce anymore." My heart skipped. This was supposed to be fake, a whispered. He looked at me in a way he never had before. I know, but it stopped feeling fake. He admitted he had fallen in love slowly. The way I prayed before I sleep, the way I called my mom every Sunday, the way I cared about strangers at home. He said, I wasn't supposed to matter, but I did. I didn't realize tears were already on my face, because somewhere along the line, I had fallen in love with him too. Then, my mom found out. Someone from church in Lagos had seen her registry wedding photos online. She called me. Amara, is this marriage real? I froze. When I hesitated, she knew. You sold your future for money, she asked quietly. Her disappointment cut deeper than any insults. I defended myself. It was supposed to be temporary, but even as I said it no longer felt temporary. Just when things were becoming emotionally complicated, his past returned. A woman from Nigeria, Ada, she called him repeatedly. One evening, I overheard him say, I didn't plan it. My stomach dropped. Later, I confronted him. You told her you would bring her here? He looked ashamed. That was before you. Before me, the word hurt more than I expected, because now I realized I cared, and caring made this dangerous. For the first time, we exploded. You used me, I shouted at him. Then he said, you agreed to this too. He fired back at me. But I didn't promise someone else's future. Silence fell heavy between us. That night, I packed a small bag. As I walked out, it didn't stop me, and that hurt the most. 3 weeks later, the knock came. 3 sharp knocks. 7 a.m. Daniel and I looked at each other from opposite side of the kitchen. No one visits this early. My stomach dropped before I opened the door. 2 immigration officers stood outside. Good morning. We are here regarding your marriage verification. No warning, no appointment, no time to rehearse, just reality. They stepped inside like quiet judges. They didn't shout, they didn't accuse. That made it worse. They looked at everything, our photos, our shared wardrobe, the kitchen cupboards. One officer opened the bedroom door slowly. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure they could hear it. Daniel tried to remain calm, but I saw the fear behind his composure. If they decided this was fraud, he wouldn't just lose status. He would be deported, banned forever. Erased from the life we are building. They separated us. Different rooms, different question. When did you last argue? What side of the bed does he sleep on? What toothpaste does he use? This wasn't about romance. It was about consistency, survival. Then the officer asked the question that stopped time. Do you love your husband? I had prepared answer for everything else. Dates, trips, family details, but not that. Because this marriage didn't begin with love. It began with desperation. For a second, I thought about saying something safe, something neutral, but instead, I saw Daniel's face in my mind. The tea he made me, the jealousy in his voice, the silence after our fight, the way he looked at me in the hospital, and I realized something terrifying. If they sent him away, it would break me. So I answered, yes. Not because it sounded convincing, but because it was true. When the officers finally left, the apartment felt smaller, quieter. Daniel stood near the window, hands in his pockets. Neither of us spoke. We didn't need to. For the first time, the fear wasn't about papers. It was about losing each other. 2 weeks later, Daniel got into a minor car accident. Nothing fatal, but sitting in the hospital waiting room, I realized something terrifying. If he left the UK, if he left me, if this arrangement ended, it wouldn't be fine. This was no longer business, it was love. When he came home from hospital, weak but smiling, I finally spoke. I don't want this to end. He looked at me carefully. I stopped seeing this as fake a long time ago, he admitted. He confessed he had cut off Ada's months ago, his former girlfriend. He said he didn't tell me because he was scared I would think he was manipulating me emotionally. Two broken people, too proud to admit love, until we almost lost each other. When his residency was finally approved permanently, we sat together staring at the envelope. 2 years ago, that paper was the goal. Now, it was irrelevant. I don't need this marriage anymore, he said softly. I want it. This time, when he held my hand, there were no cameras, no immigration officers, no contracts, just choice. We renewed our vows privately, not because we had to, but because we finally met them. Sometimes, love doesn't begin with butterflies. Sometimes, it begins with survivor. And somehow, two strangers who married for papers found something more permanent than residence. They found each other.